ring 911. Where's your emergency?
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police and the ambulance immediately. My wife and child just shot badly.
The story of Alex Murdaugh is just one of many examples of lawyers who have committed heinous acts. The legal profession is one of the most highly respected and honorable professions in the world, but it's not immune to the darker side of human nature. Lawyers are humans too, and just like everyone else, they can be capable of committing atrocities that shock the world. Alex Murdaugh's case is a perfect example of this. He was a highly respected lawyer who came from a prominent family of lawyers. He was known for his wealth, status, and connections in the legal world. However, on June 7, 2021, he shocked the world when he shot and killed his wife, Maggie, and their 22-year-old son, Paul. The trial of Alex Murdaugh was highly publicized and closely followed by the media and the public. The trial began on January 25, 2023, and lasted for several weeks. The evidence presented in court was shocking, and the verdict was swift and decisive. Alex Murdaugh was found guilty on all 4 counts and was sentenced to 2 life sentences to run consecutively without the possibility of parole. This case is not an isolated incident, unfortunately. There have been many cases of lawyers who have committed atrocities throughout history. From fraud and embezzlement to murder and rape, lawyers have been involved in some of the most heinous crimes imaginable. It's a disturbing reality that some of the most highly respected members of society are capable of committing such atrocities. It raises questions about the nature of the legal profession and the type of people that are attracted to it. It also raises questions about the responsibility of the legal community in ensuring that its members uphold the highest standards of ethical behavior. The case of Alex Murdaugh is a stark reminder that even the most respected members of society can have a dark side. It's a cautionary tale for all of us to remain vigilant and aware of the potential for evil in all of us. What does the future hold for this once respected Murdaugh family? Will they be able to regain their former status and reputation, or will they forever be associated with the dark legacy of Alex Murdaugh? But why did Alex murder his beloved wife and son? The answers to these questions are sure to be shocking, and they will be revealed in due time. Stay tuned.
I said, please tell me this isn't true. And he said, yes, ma'am, Miss Caroline, it is. And he immediately, without prompt, said it was premeditated and revenge.
The Murdaugh family is one of the most prominent and respected legal families in South Carolina's Low Country. They have deep roots in the area and have helped to establish a Hampton County law firm that has been in operation for over a century. For several generations, the Murdaughs have held high positions in the legal system, including serving as top prosecutors in the area. The Murdaugh family's influence in the legal world was not limited to just their law firm, however. They were highly respected and admired by their peers and were often sought after for their expertise and advice. Their reputation as skilled and knowledgeable lawyers was well known, and they were considered to be pillars of the community. However, the recent events surrounding Alex Murdaugh have cast a dark shadow over the family's once untarnished reputation. The shocking news of the murder of his wife Maggie and their son Paul sent shockwaves throughout the community and the legal world. The fact that a member of such a respected family could be capable of committing such a heinous act has left many questioning the very foundations of the legal profession. How could someone who was once considered to be a pillar of the community is capable of such a terrible crime? The idyllic town of Islandton, South Carolina was rocked on June 7, 2021, when the bodies of Maggie Murdaugh and her son Paul were discovered near the dog kennels at the family's estate, Moselle. The victims had multiple gunshot wounds, and the community was left in shock and mourning. In the late hours of June 7, 2021, Alex Murdaugh made a call to the police from his cell phone, reporting a disturbing discovery. He claimed to have found the lifeless bodies of his 52-year-old wife, Maggie, and their 22-year-old son, Paul, near the dog kennels at the family's hunting lodge. The investigation into the murders began immediately, with law enforcement officials combing through the scene for evidence. However, 13 months later, Murdaugh found himself at the center of the investigation when he was charged with their deaths. As the investigation into the deaths unfolded, a darker side of Alex Murdaugh's life began to surface. Allegations of financial crimes, an alleged assisted suicide attempt, opioid addiction, and a deadly boating accident involving his son Paul in 2019 were revealed. The case has become a hot topic for true crime enthusiasts and armchair detectives, with many speculating about the motive behind the murders.
I tried to turn Paul over first, then I went to my wife, and I could see. I touched them both. I tried to take their pulse on both of them.
Top police agency, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, immediately took charge of the investigation, eager to find the perpetrators of this heinous crime. The investigation was complex and involved numerous interviews, forensic analyses, and extensive searches of the family's hunting lodge. As the case progressed, investigators turned their attention to Alex Murdaugh, the husband and father of the victims. Alex had told investigators early on that he was not down by the kennels the night of the murders and had last seen his wife and son at dinner before finding their bodies upon returning home from visiting his mother, who has dementia. However, as the investigation deepened, discrepancies began to emerge in Alex's story, leading investigators to believe that he may have been involved in the murders. The Colleton County Grand Jury had issued an indictment charging him with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime in the deaths of his wife, Maggie, and son Paul, and Alex Murdaugh was arrested in July of 2022. According to the indictment, Alex had used a rifle to shoot his wife and a shotgun to kill his son. The prosecution also claimed that cell phone footage placed Murdaugh at the scene when his wife and son were shot, adding weight to their case against him. Sources close to the investigation suggested that Murdaugh was motivated by a desire to garner sympathy in the wake of financial issues that were beginning to go public. This revelation added a layer of complexity to the case and made it all the more disturbing. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Alex Murdaugh pleaded not guilty and the case went to trial. State prosecutors sought life imprisonment without the possibility of parole rather than the death penalty, given the severity of the charges. The trial was closely watched by the media and the public, as the evidence presented was nothing short of shocking. The prosecution argued that Alex had killed his wife and son for financial gain, while the defense maintained that he was innocent. The trial of Alex Murdaugh began on January 25, 2023, at the Colleton County Courthouse. The trial was overseen by Clifton Newman and featured hundreds of witnesses for both the prosecution and defense. Murdaugh was represented by Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin, while the prosecuting team was led by Creighton Waters and included John Meaders, an experienced Columbia attorney. The trial began with opening statements from both sides and instructions from the judge. Early on, defense counsel argued that the prosecution should be prohibited from asking questions related to Murdaugh's financial crimes. However, the judge overruled these objections and announced that he would make a formal ruling on the matter on February 2, 2023. The jury was dismissed early that day to allow the prosecution to present 2 witnesses who testified about Murdaugh's financial crimes in an in-camera hearing. The judge stated that he needed to hear more testimony before deciding whether these witnesses would be allowed to testify to the jury. After several days of hearing arguments without the jury present, Judge Newman ruled on February 7th that the testimony related to Murdaugh's alleged financial crimes was admissible. He said that jurors were entitled to consider whether Murdaugh's financial situation was a motive for the killings. As the trial continued, it became clear that the prosecution's theory was that Murdaugh was motivated by a desire to garner sympathy in the wake of his financial issues, which were beginning to go public. The defense argued that the evidence against Murdaugh was circumstantial and that there was no direct proof that he committed the murders. The trial lasted for several weeks, with both sides presenting a substantial amount of evidence and testimony. The jury ultimately returned a verdict of guilty on all 4 counts against Murdaugh: 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. The verdict was a stunning conclusion to a trial that had captivated the attention of people across the country. The judge sentenced Murdaugh to 2 life sentences to run consecutively without the possibility of parole. After the sentencing, Murdaugh was escorted to the Kirkland Correctional Institution, one of South Carolina's largest maximum security prisons, where he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. The prison is situated on the far northwest side of Columbia, and it's known for housing some of the state's most dangerous criminals. The shocking conclusion of the trial left many wondering what the future held for the once prominent lawyer and his family. Despite the guilty verdict and life sentence, the story of Alex Murdaugh is far from over. The case has captivated the nation and sparked conversations about the role of privilege, corruption, and mental health in the justice system. As new details emerge and the case continues to unfold, it is clear that the impact of the Murdaugh family's legacy and the heinous crimes committed by its most recent member will continue to be felt for years to come. Thank you for watching this video about the case of Alex Murdaugh. We hope that this video has shed some light on the trial and the events leading up to it. It is important to remember that justice was served. We will continue to follow this story as it develops, so be sure to subscribe to our channel for updates. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this case and what you would like to see in our next video. Thank you for your support. See you soon.